something that I was hitting on, has 100% presence. It's been banned every game except one, and in that one game, it was picked up by FPX in their win against TT. So this could be a rotation for TES. Go the Lucianami. If they want to lock in jungle here, they could. But with the fact that LNG have already taken Vi, it means you could just save that jungle for third because LNG, I mean, they've already picked their jungle, right? They can't take anything away from you.
I will say, I'm like nervous to see the Lucianami. We saw it once and it was, I think, a little underwhelming. I kind of expected it to pop off harder than it did because, like, I've seen it a lot on streams and I've played it a bit. Like, the damage is absurd now. It's even bigger than it was. So, I feel like JackeyLove and Mark, they're a duo that are more than willing to really, really push the boundaries of what's possible. But against the Lulu, it can be really tough to have that same effectiveness. You get turned into a frog and then what can you do?
Yeah, a lot of it's going to be down to how junglers and mid laners interact with the bot lane. And like you were saying, JackeyLove and Mark, I think were one of our bot lanes who were able to kind of push this 2v2 to the limits when they would get their hands on it. So I have faith. I'm excited to see them pull it off. And now we get to see the solo lane bans come through. And we still have like really important solo lane options open, right? Things like the Ahri, things like the Annie still being on the table. I wonder if either team will pinch or if we're just going to end up with a trade. You just kind of both end up focusing on top lane and some of these more kind of strong, you know, the Jacks. Jace, even though I think is more of a mid laner nowadays, like maybe that's something you need to be concerned about for Zika on that side. And funnily enough, the Poppy, which more people have up in solo queue.
Yeah, great against Lucian, great against Wukong. Makes sense to try and ban that, and could be based on what they're hoping to pick in their final two roles. But that Annie's still open, which I feel like is a big priority, and there we go, taken off of the board. I wouldn't have been surprised to see Top Esports look for that themselves, but clearly Rookie not looking towards that Annie.
Yeah, you still have things like the Ahri left open, so maybe now for TES, you're trying to push LNG into an Ahri ban now that Annie is off the table, and then you kind of have something planned for that third pick. Syndra, of course, is still open if LNG did opt into banning the Ahri, and then you wanted to move down to that if you wanted control over mid lane to have something that's blindable. And then top lane, I mean, you still have so many generic tank champions open, right? The Gragas is open, the Scion's open, the Mal. There's so many things up there that definitely feels fine to just blind pick your top side, but with no Ahri ban, that one will be picked up.
And then Annie 2.0 locked in there with the Lissandra for Scout. And I feel like Lissandra has become almost a signature for Scout over the last couple of years. I feel like Scout very much willing to play these utility roles and set up for the team. But looking at this roster from LNG, it feels very similar to what we saw from RNG earlier today, where a lot of this is on the shoulders of the Aphelios. Gala going to have to be the big carry for the team. On the side of Top Esports, a much more skirmish-heavy composition, looking towards getting a tank up for that top side, who will be the Gragas for Wayward.
Yeah, and it feels like at least the disparity in our first series was like, okay, we'd have one engaged team fight, sort of like pick, fight a lot comp against one that would have like more range or different ways to play, like RA we're drafting. But TES looking to kind of match fire with fire, lots of CC and pick coming out on both sides. I'd actually say LNG in an outright 5v5 later into the game probably are favored because they should have a better front line coming out with things like that Scion. They have more zone control with Lissandra, and of course, Aphelios should be able to output bigger damage the longer the game goes. But TES, I mean, have a lot of options in that mid game. Ahri's mobility, she'll be able to start impacting that bot lane. And you were saying it feels like Lucianami dealing more damage than ever.
Yeah, this is going to be an exciting one. I feel like, you know, we were talking about Lucianami duos and like Mark and JackeyLove being absolutely a premium version of those. I feel like Elk and On really made a name for themselves in recent history on the Lucianami. Like, I feel like Elk and On were kind of the reason it started just getting banned absolutely every single game at MSI, because Elk was destroying people in the mid game with that pick. And I feel a lot of people at home under the belief that Lucianami is a bit of a bait pick. Like, even if you believed that before, on the new patch, like, it's so insanely strong. If you've got a good AD carry that's willing to be aggressive, this is the pick for you. And well, we know JackeyLove likes to be aggressive.
I do gotta say, there were many times I thought Lucianami was a bait pick, and so one of our top tier bot lanes in the league would bring it out, and they'd be like, "Oh wait, this is how Lucianami's meant to be played. This is absolutely clapping." So I'm kind of hoping we'll get the same thing here in this game, as I always love getting to cast the games in the other stadiums, because that's when you get all the really sick graphics.
Yeah, a little bit of music there as well. It's exciting. And oh, we were talking about the mid lane matchup, Lyric. Scout already 100% CSD in the mid lane. 1-0. Rookie left in the dust.
What's he gonna do? This man is supposed to be the GOAT. This man's at least supposed to be the second GOAT, right? Most people have Faker, and then I think a lot of people second would probably look at Rookie, at least historically throughout League, and now being outdone by, I guess, another world champion himself. Not too bad.
Yeah, world champion matchup in the mid lane. I mean, we've got... let's be honest, this is actually kind of a one-sided...
It's going to be spicy, though. It's going to be spicy. Just wait for it.
Yeah, I'm waiting. 30
it's
seconds.
Gonna happen.
We've got 3 world champs on one side. We've got a world champ and MSI champ on the other side. It's only 2 international champs, and one of them's not even worlds. It's not good enough. Top Esports, moving in. Zika the target as Tarzan tries to back away. The wards are down. Wayward body blocking for Tian, who's trying to focus on the blue buff. Double knockback. Tarzan low. Now chased out by Tian. They're leaving the blue buff on 900. They're winning the 2v2, but Scout now arriving on the scene as well. It's absolute carnage at level 1. They go for the blue buff. It's Tarzan to get it. Rookie with an Orb of Deception, but LNG can keep going on this one. If they can find a bit of CC, maybe they can find a bit more. Tarzan level 2. I don't know if he leveled his Q just yet, but the flash comes out from Scout, forces the flash from Rookie as well.
LNG win the trade in the end, right? They get 2 flashes for the price of 1. They pick up their own blue buff. And it feels like from TES, honestly, I feel like you either wait a little bit in terms of showing yourself from that brush, or you have to preemptively bring Rookie over sooner, right? Or Scout just has the easier path to join the fight. So LNG executing it a bit better than Top Esports, and it pays off.
Yeah. I do respect that Top Esports basically went into that saying, look, we're going to win this on a hand sniff. We're going to outsmite you. We're going to just outplay you in the fight. We're taking the even 2v2, and we're just going to do better at it, which that takes confidence. That takes cojones to make that call.
I mean, they also were doing better in the outright 2v2, right?
Yeah.
Also have more early damage, which is nice, but sadly, yeah, LNG just thinking that step ahead and being like, yo, Scout, get down here. And then, he did, and that's sadly how League goes, Munch. The more
why do they
people
sound
that
like
show
they're
up,
from an 80s basketball film? Yo, Scout.
because that's just how I imagine LNG. LNG are the 80s basketball film protagonist,
I see. Well, Rookie, no flash available, knocked up, rooted up, but turns it around. Oh, so close to getting the return kill onto Scout, but will go down.
Sadly, it doesn't happen. Tarzan's Coach Carter, Munch. He shows up, he gives the motivational speech, and sadly, Scout delivers. I guess sadly for Rookie and TES fans, but not sad for LNG fans.
Surely Poppy is Coach Carter since he's, the coach. I feel like that seems more likely at this point.
You know what? I can't fit Poppy to the analogy of the mid gank, though. Look at this. Look at this. Where's Poppy? I don't see him. Tarzan, he's here.
That's true. And also Top Esports banned Poppy, huh? It gets deeper. It goes
Actually,
deeper. Rookie.
It was LNG that banned Poppy.
Oh, the self-ban. Maybe something we could dig into in a session. Scout, going back in here, trying not to Rookie. Does get caught by the charm, but manages to pull it off. And this is what I was hoping for. This is what I asked for, that we could focus on the mid lane with the observers. I'm glad we get to, because watching these two spar is always so much fun.
Yeah, I feel like sparring is a good way of putting it as well, with a lot of little trading back and forth. I like that Tian kind of ends his path down here, gives the tri-brush reward when we know that JackeyLove and Mark not only want to be playing aggressively, but have actively been playing aggressively. LNG have a wave to set this up on the opposite side. Wayward has flash, and we know Gragas can be very annoying to dive.
Well, let's see if they can pull it off. No level 6 for that Gragas, which really is the biggest factor. Scout going to get that root down, but Zika's still tanking. And Wayward gets the kill. He'll go down, but my days almost turned it into 2.
If he had, that would have been huge. Ultimately, hell, actually with Tian here, it ends up about even, right? This should have been a denied wave on the side of TS. Sure, Wayward himself is denied, but the fact that Tian's there to get the XP, pick up those 2 minions, means that at least there's no, gold just outright lost by the side of TS, and does just end up being a 1-for-1.
JackeyLove gets his recall cancelled. Good little ward over the wall there from either Hung or Gala. And so far, a fairly quiet bottom lane, but ultimately, you do expect the Lucian army to wait a little while before it properly pops off. You get your trading power at level 3, but then assuming that the enemy bot lane plays respectfully, you shouldn't really have that much kill threat until you start getting those items online, until you get that level 6 online. Deep ward coming out there from LNG. Don't think it's bot Tian though.
Now, need to pay attention down to the spot lane. Both junglers are going to pat down here and Dragon's up. With the fact that TS have priority and they've already gotten some preset vision around that bot side river, you would expect Tian to just start this one up. But I wonder how vigilant of Tarzan he will be. With the fact that Rookie's push, though, it probably would be hard for this to backfire.
Yeah, Rookie moving over. It should be taken by top esports. And I feel like when you look at the two compositions, like, you kind of favor top esports. If you look at just the bottom 4 players on either side, like, the level 6 fight, I'm favoring the Lucian Na'Vi team. I'm favoring the Wukong Ari team, you know. So, certainly, they've got that damage, they've got that power in the early game, and we'll be able to get a Drake off the bat.
It would be really cool to see LNG set up what I call the old FPX plays. Really just the old Do-and-Be plays, honestly, because even LNG would do some when Do-and-Be was on the squad, which is like, as scout, let's say you like hover up towards top to make Rookie think you're gonna roam, and then just both wait in that brush, you find the pick, and then bam. I mean, Lissandra Vi, he's dead for sure, you have numbers advantage, you go kill Wayward. I want the old Do-and-Be special. I feel like that fits the LNG comp perfectly.
Yeah, certainly does. Maybe that's where the inspiration came from, you know, Do-and-Be being on this roster. Maybe he's kind of left his mark there. But I will say Scout does love a bit of Lissandra himself, does love to play the hour. And we talked about the mid-jungle 2v2, right? Like 1-0-1 on Tarzan and Scout. Granted, wasn't necessarily all 2v2, but a good start for them. There's Tian and Rookie now trying to move out onto the map, get some control themselves, perhaps get some deep vision, or at least just a ward onto those Raptors. Red buff spawning soon. Look at this. Hung and Gala like, oh god, are we about to be dived? Do we need to run here?
It's just the power of vision, right? I mean, hell, TS don't need to do anything. As long as they keep that bot side of the jungle dark, and as long as you have Rookie kind of constantly hovering, Gala and Hung are always going to have to be guessing if someone will make their way down towards bot lane. Oh, even nice chunk coming on through. This will just be to cause a bit of an annoyance, as we can see Tian up towards that top side. But JackeyLove and Mark, with the prio they have, going to be able to make their way up first. Yeah,
maybe make a play towards the mid lane here. Obviously no culling, but still a lot of damage to come out from that Lucian. He's got a BF sword, but I think Scout will be perfectly fine. Just going to hold that wave is Mark, as JackeyLove now arrives on the scene, should be able to clear it up. And in the meantime, Tian and Wayward doing that. Rookie was recalling. Rookie was like in base while all of this kicked off. So Gala and Hung had to answer a place on the bottom side, as it will be tower plates taken. JackeyLove's in trouble, and there's that combo we talked about. Cleanse comes out though, flashes over the wall. Tarzan actually flashes after him. A bold flash there from Tarzan. There's no follow-up from the rest of the team.
Bold flash, but at least he knew or had an idea where everyone was. I guess he knew, right? Because the Herald was taken by Tian. Great sidestep as well to not get picked up by the bubble, because if he had, JackeyLove definitely would have been able to find the return kill on Tarzan. But still, LNG do a great job of knowing, hey, we're too late on tempo to make a play for Rift Herald. Let's cross map for bot side, and seeing JackeyLove and Mark covering mid wave set up the trap in their own blue side jungle.
And that's fantastic, because that means they fundamentally just win the trade, right? 3 plates on the bottom side. Herald only gets you a plate and a half. Sure, there's a little bit more gold from actually picking up Herald, so outright gold perhaps fairly even, but in terms of where you're getting that gold, Gala getting 3 plates worth, you take that. Like, look, he's already got Stormbrazen.
Especially now after the turret changes on this patch, where they've made it harder to keep pushing down plates after you've taken the first one. Right, kind of saying in the patch that that's one of the things they want to get away from, right? They still want you to feel like if you make like a dive or a gank or like a Herald play on one side, you get rewarded, but they don't just outright want it to break open the game the same way that it did before. Yeah. To be fair, I don't know if like the turret plates having a bit more resistances right after one goes down really is that drastic of a change, but still a little bit of a change to try to help teams not get snowballed against as hard.
I love this from the observers, just highlighting the wards in the bottom lane. TPs are available. We're past 10 minutes, so it's very possible. Oh, that sweeper didn't quite see the ward. Wayward has TP. Rookie has TP.
Ooh. Yeah.
Highly possible for shenanigans to occur here. Tian just looking for the crab in the meantime. Scout moving over. We'll find that control ward in the brush.
I do got to say, that is one of my favorite changes of the patch. Is the Unleash timer going down. You know,
Top
maybe
laners
back
actually
in the
get to
day...
participate in League of Legends.
Maybe back in the day, like, TPing down at, like, 3 minutes was too much or just kind of annoying. But, you know, 14 minutes was way too long. I want my top laners involved in shenanigans right now, which we actually have having a lot of posturing for shenanigans. Sadly, none going to actually be followed through on.
It's a shenaniganless situation, unfortunately. As a bit of a wet noodle fight up at the top side. We've got Sunfire Cape versus almost a Sunfire Cape, so realistically, this is never going to lead to much until they get involved with the rest of the team. Very quiet early game between the two teams, but I can kind of get it. And I feel like with Drake spawning now on the next Herald as well, perhaps those are our catalysts for something to kick off.
Yeah, especially, I mean, we still have Herald in pocket for Tian, so it's about seeing where he's going to make a play with that. Ideally, you would want to make it down towards bot, get some gold on JackeyLove, and really get him going, finish up the Stormraiser, but it looks like it is going to probably end up being towards mid, even if not right now. Just the fact that Rookie has been keeping up consistent pressure just makes it a very easy place to drop the Herald and gives Rookie even more leniency in being able to roam and make plays on the map.
Yeah, so just a little bit of gold there, only the single plate actually taken, but gets priority, gets the Drake, and like you say, potentially sets up for the second Herald. As Wayward actually did roam down towards the mid lane, just in case there was a big fight for the Drake, but will return to the top lane, doesn't want to lose out on too much CS there. As, in you know, that saucy tank matchup, you need every single second of top lane action. Recall's coming through, almost denied there by Tarzan, but couldn't quite find his mark. And speaking of mark, he's trying to defend his ward over the wall. JackeyLove actually dashing towards Tarzan, culling. Going to be used, but won't find his opportunity.
I got to commend both teams, honestly. Just, again, to be fair to RA, right? They're a completely new squad, pretty much. The 3 different members coming in is... Need to pause. Tian...
There we go, TP's on the bottom side. Gala flashed on, knocked up, tidal wave, dodged though, very nicely done, but the Cyclone is there, and he's taken down. Tarzan next on the chopping block, 1 HP, but he will burn down Rookie to get it. Wayward traded.
Still, ultimately, overall, 2 kills going over to TS, and they're going to keep looking.
Oh, we're not done. The damage onto Hung Rookie. Playing for keeps here as JackeyLove dives on to finish the kill. Now onto Scout. Turns golden, but that's the stopwatch down. Should go down. No, the minions are gone. JackeyLove's tanked too long. He's executed as Rookie gets the kill.
It's actually fine. He just gets, you know, a faster base timing. JackeyLove is chilling. But we can see now Zika getting so much work done on this top lane turret. This is going to be broken down. I will say for TS, you're not really going to care about that all too much. LNG don't really have a whole lot of side laning turret, right? It's going to be all about grouping up. Will give Zika some more opportunities to potentially move around the map. But look at what you got on the side of TS. JackeyLove, 2-1-2. Rookie, 2-1-1. Like, accelerating them, getting gold onto 2 of your main carries.
Just to mention as well, 5 stacks on a Dark Seal there for Rookie. He just got a Dark Seal before that play kicked off, so couldn't have really got any better for him.
We're going to see here how it all started. I mean, Tian just waiting over the wall, comes on over, and then great knock-up. Gala managed to sidestep the tidal wave, but it didn't mean anything because it just gave Mark an easier place to bubble. And then with Wayward and Rookie both joining the fray, it just made the follow-up so much easier. Ton of CC coming up from Scout allows for 1 return kill, and they buy a ton of time here. Like, Scout was the perfect annoyance, but 4v2, at the end of the day, they are both still just going to go down.
Yeah, there's only so much you can do. JackeyLove kind of fumbling that one to go down to the tower there, but in the meantime, we've already got a fight. The charm goes slightly wide as the turret, blocking a bit of culling as well. Gala walks away as Tian now has found Tarzan, but here comes the Scion from the top side. It's a 5v5, it's messy, but it leads to nothing.
Great damage coming out from LNG, though. So much engage, Moonlight Vigil by Gala on top of it, and it's going to lead to LNG being the ones to be able to pick up a Rift Herald. So you're going to take that. They've done a nice job I'm saying slightly ahead in gold, especially because of the progress that they've been making with those plates up in top lane, and now they might be able to extend it even further.
Yeah, that herald should lead them to a reasonably sizable gold lead at this point, and not to mention, like, Zika finished the Mythic, you've got Black Cleaver for Tarzan already. Like, we've got items across the board. And so, it could get a little rough for top esports, because this is a composition that, you know, you're playing off of picks, but also, generally speaking, Lush, Nami, Ari, these are champions that would love to play from Elite. They would love to be able to snowball. When you're not that far ahead, it can be tougher to find those opportunities. Oh,
Definitely
no.
can. Scout?
Oh,
Scout. Full commit.
Scout really going aggressive for this one. The bubble doesn't quite land, though, and it will just be half a health bar each.
2 minutes to get away. I also want to go back to what I was talking about earlier, because that fight broke out at a really bad time where it just ended up with me pretty much calling RA bad. When that wasn't the point of what I was trying to say, Joe. I promise. That wasn't the point. It's that at the start of the split, I expect all teams to look like a little bit sluggish, regardless of if like they're newer rosters like both RNG or RA, or teams like this that have made very minimal changes. It's like, no, both these teams honestly have been responding well. Both have been cohesive. The cross mapping's been good. The team fights have been solid. We might get more.
Oh, the flash forward from Scout Everfrost there as well. Tian locked up, burnt down, 2 ultimates used, and they are happy to invest it. That's the jungler for top esports gone. A tower in the mid lane with a bonus charge on its way. Rookie could be in trouble with the charm. Should buy a bit of space here. Herald gets the second charge, and LNG move towards the Drake. The top esports don't look like they're done despite the numbers disadvantage.
LNG with great timing. Wait for some of the resets to come out from people like Wayward, then execute on that play in mid. It's going to turn into what should be a Drake. But like you said, TS look like they still want to fight. Some ults are down on LNG side, right? Lissandra, Vi, and Lulu, all impactful ults, not up.
Tien's respawned, and it's Hex Rift. He can teleport almost back to this play. It's pretty much going to be a 5v5 as Wayward moves in to try and contest. Rookie looking for the charm angle. Dragon at 3k. Oh, he's too early. Tien tries to get over the pit for the drive-by smite, but he don't find it, but the Cyclone is gorgeous. The play is there for top esports. They lose the Drake, but find 2.
And I think this is better. I feel like playing for the fight almost always results in more than just being able to get the smite on the objective itself. Of course, you know, barring later on. But TS now should be able to turn this into a meaningful gold advantage. You can see them now in the enemy jungle getting vision down. They're going to be able to take away camps. Rookie pushing down in that bottom lane. Going to deny some more minions and gold, potentially get a turret himself. So it's all about what top esports can do right now.
Might even look at a dive in the mid lane here, but Tarzan and Scout nearby, it would be dicey to say the very least. The wave will be cleared in the end. So LNG hold on to their towers. And look at the gold. We are within spitting distance, 100 gold apart right now. As Tian, I love the attempt of the drive-by smite there. Won't happen, but does get a flank off of it.
Yeah, great charm by Rookie onto the Lulu, and then the flank coming out. They managed to pick off Gala as well. And from here, I feel like had they committed more towards like taking enemy jungle leading towards bot, they could have picked up that bot lane turret. But like you pointed out, it seems like they were hoping maybe if Zika overextended a little bit that they could find like a pick off in mid. Didn't happen, so gold stays pretty much even. Both teams have been just going punch for punch.
Yeah. And so I kind of want to take a second here, Lyric, and revisit how we should be playing this game, right? How these teams should be approaching this. Because I remember you said earlier, like, LNG, in a straight up front to back, they'll probably have the advantage late on in the game. But, like, at what point does that kick in? And how do top esports play around that fact?
I feel like for the side of TS, we need to see more of, like, Tian leaning with his bot lane duo in mid, kind of working their way into getting control over the topside jungle now that the Baron's up, and then utilizing Tian and Rookie to try to pick off side lanes. It's kind of a balancing act, right? Making sure JackeyLove and Mark are strong and safe in mid, while also then, okay, they're safe, move up towards Rookie, try and get picks with the Ahri and the Wukong, and then opening up the game that way. Because as you can see on the minimap right there, Scout will constantly be looking for moments where JackeyLove or Mark overstep in mid lane to try to make a play.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of that Lissandra. It's so good at punishing when you do make a misstep. JackeyLove going in onto Gala. The wave means no culling can be used, unfortunately, but just a bit of damage traded back and forth. With the red buff and an army, though, you're kind of happy to trade damage, but then Gala has Severum, so he'll heal back up as well, so it all leads to nothing.
And we're already in the dance. I mean, we saw it there, right? Tian, stay around mid, make sure they can push, slightly lean up towards top, gives Rookie the availability to roam towards. And now we're in kind of a situation where both comps are similar in terms of like the CC and the setup that they have, that they're both kind of looking for similar plays. It's about which one can execute. I do slightly favor LNG because they have things like the Cyan, which I feel like should be able to be more impactful than the Gragas, but who knows? We saw some beautiful casks from Breathe in the last series that really can be game changers.
I feel like that's the thing. Like, on paper... oh, spellbook. Okay. I was a little worried for Scout there for a second. I was a little surprised that he was running Barrier, to be honest. But, yeah, I feel like Gragas, it's all about execution, whereas Cyan, I feel like you get more default value on the pick. As Wayward, getting comboed, but will dash away, and he is just going full tank. Not a smidge of AP aside from a Doran's Ring there for Wayward, so he will be real tough to kill.
He will be on the opposite side. Oh no, you ask away. I didn't know what I was going to say there anyway.
Drake's up in a minute. We've got this pick composition coming out from Top Esports, right? I feel like the Drake and the plays therein are the opportunity, but last time around we actually saw LNG the ones finding a pick in the jungle, finding an opportunity there, and they still actually have that control ward in the brush, that very brush, that fateful brush where they found Tian.
So for TS, I feel like they have more inherent power inside, so they need to focus on like pushing out bot, trying to enter in through multiple angles. LNG, I feel like it's easy. I feel like you just, you know, stack 5 mid, say what's up to each other. You know, you kind of mosey into river. You don't walk, you mosey. You're a little bit jovial, and you know, the fight just happens.
Well, they're moseying away.
But Munch, TS. Yeah, they didn't even need to push through bot like I suggested. I think their wave is pushing, which is good, because it means that they have the threat of a flank from that tri-brush if LNG are able to walk into river.
There is a ton of wards for LNG, though. Like, it's going to be hard to significantly flank without being spotted at this point, as JackeyLove trying to hit Zika a little bit. Big damage on Scout from Rookie there, but it's traded. As Wayward loses almost all his HP, the heal is there, but it's not enough. And now they follow up for more as well. Tian, the next target, flashes out to safety, but it's a 3v5 essentially. Tian on a blinking health bar as Mark gets follow-up auto attack there, but they can't quite finish the job. And that'll be a Drake for LNG, beautifully played.
Finding themselves somewhere they didn't want to be. Rookie, in response, does TP up the top to get this turret, so a bit of gold in Top Esports pockets. But we saw there, right? If it's just Top Esports standing in front of LNG, which to be fair did look like a bit of a misstep from Wayward, who really got punished. LNG will just take it, now convert into a mid lane turret as well. Oh, JackeyLove.
Oh, it's a big Cullen, but Zika is a brick wall. Tian trying to follow it up. No Cyclone available, and the TP comes out to punish it. Rookie behind enemy lines, but Gala survives, and Rookie's down! LNG turn it on its head, and Top Esports feels like desperation point.
That was so incredibly bold. It seems like that they were just hoping that they found a window where LNG were maybe going to start backing off with low health bars and look for a reset, but with the fact that Scout had that TP available, so, oh no,
Scout
Munch.
has ultimate.
We might not be done. And the position by LNG, once again, so good.
And no vision whatsoever. Scout can walk to the mid lane. Tarzan, he's not been spotted just yet. Okay, there we go. Walks across the ward on those chickens. And it looks like, oh, hang on, Tarzan, why you go back in there? Knocked back into the play, but they're not willing to commit the damage. JackeyLove didn't really fully go in there. And he will walk away with his life. To be honest, I'm kind of amazed he got away with that one.
Me too. They put a lot of respect on Zika in that play, though. The second the ult popped, multiple members of Top Esports were like, all right, Wayward, we are gone. We're going to see here, Top Esports wanting to find kind of a pseudo pick, hoping one member walks too far forward, but LNG are playing so well as a unit. They walk up as 5. It allows them to CC Wayward down. And now you're left in this position where you have no tank, really, no frontline, as Tian forced out so early, and we're seeing the value of just Aphelios being able to free hit, but I think a lot of that coming out from like Hung and Scout setting up the CC into the huge knockup from Zika to make that all possible. But I'm not really a huge fan of how TS were even looking for that pick to begin with, because LNG, again, they just walked into river as a 5-stack. That RE charm on 1 means nothing.
I feel like Tian as well, it's like, why are you still there? Like, when he gets caught out by Tarzan, he's still just hitting the dragon. It's like, dude, you've lost this fight. It's over. Like, get out of there. As top esports now have to try and walk into the darkness. Night is dark and full of terrors, but the control ward into the pit will answer. Tian, why are you on the bottom side of the map? Baron is taken. I'm a bit perplexed on this one. A Scout now in the middle of everyone. The follow-up from the rest of the team is here. LNG looking good. Scout walking away with his life somehow. Moonlight Vigil, little wide. Zika is a brick wall. Tarzan goes down. Top esports find one, and they want a little bit more as well. Still going strong as Zika has to flash away. And Tian looking for more, diving forward. Zika still going, still surviving. He's an absolute fridge, to quote Hysterics, but not fridgy enough.
No, and now top esports going to benefit so much off of, I mean, just kind of the missed team fighting from LNG Scout. I didn't see, but didn't look like he managed to really lock anyone down for that damage to come through. Obviously, the Moonlight Vigil went so wide, giving TS a little bit of a reprieve, and there's been a very like LNG controlled game over these past few minutes.
JackeyLove certainly firing on all cylinders at this point. 3 items on that Lucian, but it still doesn't feel like enough to get through Zika. But the Baron crucially taken by LNG.
Yeah, I want to keep my eyes on Scout here. Goes in on the backline, but actually Wayward making it so the Aphelios can't be there, can't be dealing consistent damage. And that's what led Scout to being out. Now it's like, okay, some damage has been done, but you know, Lissandra has to back off. And JackeyLove, like you said, getting in range to just keep firing. I was like Tian kind of like buffering, being in enough distance to jump in front line at any point if JackeyLove did want to keep going forward. But Wayward's Cask kind of being the catalyst for all of this. Imagine had Aphelios been like free hitting or able to throw out that Moonlight Vigil from the very start.
Yeah. So Wayward kind of saving the day, honestly, in retrospect. Nice little charm there from Rookie, but does not have the damage to significantly hurt this Scion at this point. Zika basically invincible. A Scout now playing side lane, and that's one thing LNG have done well historically. The knockups are there though, and Hung's gone. It's a pick for top esports. And I think a little bit of overconfidence from LNG, but now they want the fight instead. Tian, the target is JackeyLove, has to back away, but the culling is good to get some damage down. Gala taking a chunk of it at the end. Thinks the flash from JackeyLove. Way too much from LNG. I'm not really sure what they were thinking here as Zika now taken out as well. A triple on the Lucian. 6-1 and 6 for JackeyLove, and a hell of a start.
That trigger pull from Tian and JackeyLove was beautiful. Both just flashing in at the same time to take advantage of LNG, and now it's going to put them on their third Drake. So TS now, they finally win. Like, I guess last fight was a fight as well, but you had things like Baron positioning. This one, true 5v5, they come out ahead, and it all starts with Wayward finding his way onto the Lulu. They do a great job at comboing this damage. But here, I thought LNG had this, because it looked like Scout had such an easy way to get in between the other 5 members of top esports. Decides not to take the claw in with all the members of top esports backing off.
Meant to go in.
Oh, he did. And here, the flashes in from JackeyLove and Tian were just so great. But you're right, he did hit W.
Oh, what a whiff. What a whiff from Scout. But like you say, like, not only a great trigger pull from top esports, I feel like originally I was going to say a bit of disrespect from Gala, like walking the way that he did towards JackeyLove, so he was in flash range, but in the context of, I think Scout was actually meant to press E there. I think he was meant to follow up. And suddenly, maybe you understand Gala's confidence as, do they know Wayward's here? Okay, they do now. There's Wayward, very confident to just stay here and try and clear the ward. Is tanky, but has to respect Scout when he goes in.
And now kind of looking where we're at in terms of items. I mean, a whole item lead JackeyLove has over Gala, sitting on 4s compared to 3, having the LDR now, so going to be able to start dealing some meaningful damage to Zika on that Scion. Already had been bursting out the squishy members of LNG, having the extended range with the rapid-fire cannon coming out as well. So I think TS now at a pretty solid point to be able to again, to keep doing what they've been doing. But we've seen a lot of these fights coming down to the smallest points of execution, like with Scout in that last fight.
Yeah, absolutely. Rookie. Good bit of damage onto Tarzan, as we're just fighting for mid-prio. And that Baron from earlier basically did nothing at this point. Tian always found a flying Hung, though, spots him on a ward. This mid tower barely surviving at this moment in time as Tarzan goes for Tian. He's not winning that 1v1. Scout now joining into the play. Cyclone is there, but the culling. Scout knocked up, and Tian's got a stopwatch. Scout has to turn golden as well. This is absolute carnage. JackeyLove getting onto Scout, though he's over the wall and taking down Moonlight Vigil. Gala! That was gorgeous! And now onto Mark as well. He steps into LNG and he steps up in the fight. Rookie fleeing through the mid lane, but Tarzan's got him, and it's a triple for Gala.
Gala taking advantage of the fact that Top Esports' eyes were so fixated on Scout, all of them running in, gave Gala the opening, and Gala took advantage. Now going to get control of mid, potentially even push this turret down. They should be able to. Only Tian and Wayward alive. Tian just based. Huge punish coming out for LNG.
Yeah. And this is why you pick up Gala. This is why you want him on your roster, because that was some heroics, right? Flashes over the wall, get him for straight out of Lucian. Like, that's what Lucian's meant to do, not Aphelios. But, man, the damage was insane, and just the confidence to go for that play.
And here Tian was hoping for an angle to find a flank, but the ward from LNG spotting him out. They turn onto him, but able to buy so much time. Gets out with the stopwatch. Scout, sadly, his abilities on cooldown, gets away. But it's here. When Scout flashes over, Top Esports really opening themselves up by funneling in. And that flash on to JackeyLove. Just great. But I don't know. Again, I think TS getting too fixated on trying to chase down that Lissandra. And I guess mostly JackeyLove, right? JackeyLove running from the rest of his team for the engage to be possible.
And I feel like if JackeyLove doesn't kind of whiff his E over the wall towards the red buff, maybe he's in a better, safer spot. And, you know, Rookie obviously gets the reset and can dash away. But, yeah, this is the second time this game, honestly, that we've kind of seen some mechanical whiffs influencing these fights, which... We're talking about JackeyLove and Scout. These are not players that you anticipate whiffing mechanically. Zika forced to flash over the wall as Top Esports full control. Look at Rookie on the flank as well. If Gala tries to move into the river that way, he's in danger.
I like the TS have finally started kind of playing for more flanks than they were before. LNG, though, still staying as a unit.
Oh, it's a great little CC chain. And see you later, Rookie. The Banshees ain't doing enough for you there. The whole team just jumping on top. That is a lot of ultimates used, but for 45 seconds, you've got a 4v5.
Yeah, I wonder, LNG pushing towards the base of TS. I thought they'd maybe start looking to try to, like, bait a Baron, but with the fact that this is TS's soul, looks like they are just going to opt into pushing midway, playing for bot side, and making sure they get on soul points themselves. TS going to try and get control of top side vision. I don't know if they're actually going to confidently bluff taking Baron itself, or if this will just be a vision play. So it will just be the vision play.
Yeah, the blue ward will be removed in the end. As LNG,
you know,
they'll grab that Drake, and we are on soul point for both teams, Lyric.
I feel like with most teams, you know they wouldn't like try to bait Baron there in a 4v5. But with TS, you're always on your toes.
Well, speaking of, they are
Hey, but Rookie's alive
Baron.
now. Rookie's
TP
alive.
available
TP.
for Rookie. There's a ward there where Zika was just stood. Gala could be in trouble. I feel like Top Esports want to fight. They don't want the Baron here. They want to go for this, but Rookie TPing fairly conservatively. Doesn't want to go for a flank. Wants to be there as part of the team fight. Tian has to dash away over the wall. Gets a little bit of healing off there as LNG, have they just tethered this? Yeah, it's still on 4K. This has got real dicey for Top Esports. It's a failure of their own making as LNG just swipe it away. Thank you very much, Top. And it's a flash from Tian as well. It really couldn't have gone much worse.
That was so depressing, Munch. Like, it looks exactly like you said. They wanted to start a fight, but the problem is they only had one, like, ward that really would have put Rookie in range to join the fight instantly. It was that one control ward in, like, the Pixie Brush and River. Without that, it's like, what are you going to do? I don't know. That was just such a deflated-looking play. Yeah. I almost don't want the replay because of how sad watching it was.
And the thing is, that's like the bread and butter for Top Esports. Baron-based plays, like fighting a Baron, that is Top Esports. That is like all of the historic plays from 2020, 2021. Like, they were all around Baron. So, You know, a rough start, I think it's fair to say, for Top Esports in this game. Hopefully they can kind of wake up for game 2 a little bit, because we've seen some mistakes coming out, that's for sure. But LNG punishing well. 3,000 gold lead, Baron in pocket. 3 minutes until Soul spawns, and LNG want to take as much as they can before that.
They can, and they should be able to do quite well pushing forward. A lot of this, I think, is going to be up to, like, Rookie either finding a charm if someone steps too far forward, and to Wayward finding that huge cast to deliver Gala into the rest of the team. Sadly, for TES, Gala does have flash up, so theoretically should be able to get out alive.
And I do feel like we've got to the point in the game where we were talking about how good LNG are if it's an outright fair fight. Wayward's knocked up. It's a good cast, and it keeps himself alive. Can they follow up with the rest of the fight, though? As there's health bars blinking on both sides. Scout trying to escape. Zika low as well as Rookie goes in. Everfrost is there.
Gala?
Deception as Gala dives underneath the tower by himself and walks away full HP. What is this man made of? As that was a bit dodged from Tarzan, but he survives for now. Goes down finally. Scout following up as well. But Gala still full, still going, and still shredding Top Esports.
And now with 2 members down from TES, having minions with you, LNG can just look to end.
I love this. I regret criticizing Tarzan there, because it all sets up for Gala to take over. JackeyLove next target. Gala's invincible. He does so much damage, and he's completely unstoppable. That's LNG making an entrance in the split as Scout finishes the job for the team. Double kill there coming out onto Gala, and Scout to finish the third. 15-15, but what a banger to start us off.
I was going to say, honestly, I'm just happy with the game overall. Close game, kills ended up about the same. We had missteps on both sides, whether like mechanical missteps or like slight, you know, kind of like decision making in terms of what they were looking to do. But at the end of the day, LNG able to do it. Gala, great debut game with LNG. And you know, we said coming in, right, we're going to kind of see how the divorce went. Like, who wins, Gala or RNG? RNG already won their series, but Gala off to a great start, yeah. Both just finding new partners, living happy lives, and you know what? We live for that much.
Mate.
That's exactly what we want.
So the message for everyone at home is maybe divorce is the answer. Moving on. Moving on. Yeah, phenomenal debut for Gala here on LNG. LNG looking really clean. I think, because even the one like big whiffed fight from Scout, it was like one slight misclick, essentially, like not quite pressing E fast enough. He wanted to get the maximum range on it, so you know, it happens. Aside from that, generally pretty clean game from them. Top Esports, I feel like, went with a win condition that you do need a bit of execution, you do need a bit of coordination. It's a bit more difficult, I think, to pull this composition off, and I don't think they're at that point yet this split. I feel like maybe they need to warm into things a little bit better, maybe go for a composition that I mean, the thing is, I say that this is a Top Esports kind of composition. This is all about snowball. This is all about hand stiff. Like, maybe you do just have to go for this and hope it goes better.
I gotta say, you hit on a great point in that game where you're like, TS are kind of known for this like Baron bait to fight thing. Like that's their thing. The problem is that I remember doing like my extensive research doc for Top Esports going into playoffs in spring, and like that's like all they know how to do, how to break open the game. That's kind of it. It's like, okay, we know to play the first 20 minutes pretty well. Post 20 minutes, force Baron, fight better, win. That's kind of the strat. And sadly, like we said, they weren't able to execute on it. And that's probably the saddest part of that game, is that was the real like defining moment of like, now this is LNG's game. And it came from TS kind of making a half-hearted decision that led to LNG winning. So I just hope we can see them being a little bit more, I don't even want to say decisive. That's not even really the right word, but just commit to side. If you're going to full send it for that Baron, just full send it for that Baron. And, you know, if you're going to maybe be a little bit smarter, then screw that Baron. You know, let's maybe look to get deep vision and look for picks, or like send her Ari to sides with Wukong and move mid from there, you know? I don't know.
It's funny, isn't it? Because, like, when I'm watching MSI and a team just full sends for Baron, I'm like, guys, what are we doing here? Like, come on, we expect better. When it's Top Esports, day number 3 of the regular season, I'm like, full send it, baby. Let's go. Let's see you flip the Baron. Like, the crazy thing is as well, like you say, flipping Baron, or like at least using Baron fights to break
That's
open
like a
the
tool.
game as your
Yeah.
as your one strategy is a dangerous place to be, because it feels like so many games are thrown doing that strategy. I feel like you gotta have more tools in your shed than that. JackeyLove doing some good damage, but he was just free firing into Zika for the vast majority of the game, so you kind of anticipate that. As I feel like for me, Gala maybe the MVP of this one, honestly, with that play onto JackeyLove, with the way that he played some of these fights.
Oh, I think so
really
too.
Magnificent.
I think during the first series, you can like kind of see like LP played great, but there was a lot of like setup from his team. This game, there was setup for him in some fights, but a lot of those fights and a lot of those opportunities were Gala setting up himself, Gala noticing mistakes made by the enemies, and again, just playing incredibly well for himself. So honestly, I'm just kind of happy and surprised that Gala did so well. And honestly, maybe LNG picked Lissandra to make Gala more comfortable. They're like, hey, Gala's used to playing with Xiaohu. Xiaohu was the Lissandra guy. We pick it in our first game, and, you know, he's just the same old Gala.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think that's the big thing where you look at LNG, swapping out LP for Gala, and LP looked great earlier today, like it has to be said, but Gala brings you that X factor. Gala will give you hero moments, and I think that's something that it's almost an intangible that you just can't put a value on. So Gala, massive game number one. We're going to jump into a break, and then we'll find out how LNG continue in this one, or whether Top Esports have got a little more to say.